Class 11. Welcome to the online tutorial sessions for economics. I am Avnash Lambert, your economics guru, and today we are going to continue our third chapter, which is collection of data in statistics. Now, in today's video we are going to continue our topic, which was methods of sampling, under which we were doing the subdivisions of random sampling and non-random sampling. We had studied what is random sampling, which is also known as unrestricted sampling, and non-random restricted sampling. Now, under the random sampling there was two more subdivisions, which were simple random sampling unrestricted or restricted random sampling. Now, let's start with the first one, which is simple unrestricted random sampling. Now, a simple random sampling is one in which every item of the population has an equal chance of being selected. Basically, it is exactly as same as the random sampling. Fine. In the random sampling, whatever you studied about under the method of sampling, there was random sampling. Under the random sampling, you studied the same thing, that each and every item of a population has an equal chance of being selected. So that's the same thing. So it become easier for you to understand. Now, how do we conduct the simple unrestricted random sampling? With the help of lottery method. You know what is lottery method? In a big container there are name chits of the each and every candidate, and from that you randomly put your hand inside and take out the third winner, the second winner, and the first winner. Fine. So this is the lottery method, and there is one more method, random numbers table. Now, under the random numbers table, there are so many economists, there are so many mathematicians which have given their random number table, in which Tippett's table is the most popular one, which is being used most popularly in the whole world. Under the Tippett's table, what happens? There is one list in which there are lots of numbers, and the chits are given to the different items of the universe, and with that table randomly few numbers are selected, and those candidates, those items which are having that numbers chit are being selected. So basically it is also a lottery method, but we call it Tippett's table. Now, what are the merits of simple unrestricted random sampling? Is the merit is there is no personal bias, because we are doing a lottery method. How can we cheat? Nobody can cheat, nobody can be biased, nobody can be judgmental. So no personal bias is there. Based on probability, it is based on luck. You cannot select by yourself. It's just a matter of probability. Anybody can have the opportunity of being selected as the sample. Now, what is the demerit? It is not suitable for small sample. Imagine there are only 5 people. What you will do? You will do lottery system. What you will do? So you cannot do lottery method or Tippett's table under the simple random sampling, where the small sampling is there, small number of area is there, then it's not suitable here. And it is also time consuming. You have to make checks of each and every person, and that will consume lots of time. So it's time consuming. Now let's come to the second division of random sampling, which is restricted random sampling. Now, under the restricted random sampling, the first, I told you there were 4 more subdivisions of restricted random sampling, under which the first subdivision of restricted random sampling is stratified random sampling. Now, the universe, under it the universe is divided into numbers of strata. Now, what is strata? Strata means groups. If we divide that universe into certain groups, then that is known as strata. And then certain number of its are taken from each strata or groups. Now, let's understand it with this example. Suppose this is my area of investigation. This is the universe in which there are these numbers of items. Fine. Now, I will divide them according to few groups. Suppose I have divided this group, I have divided them number of 8 and 8. Each group is having 8 elements of the universe. Fine. Now they are divided. I am taking all the groups and taking one from each of the groups so that I can have my required number of samples. Suppose I needed 5 or 6, then I can have divided them according to the number of samples I need. So I needed 6 samples, so I divided the group into 6 parts, and from that I have taken one from each group, and now I can have my 6 samples. Is that clear? Now the merits: more representatives. We can select more and more representatives from different groups, and because you have divided the whole universe into different groups, you can have different people, different samples. You can have a better efficient accuracy in your investigation. Demerits: it requires utmost care because you need to take care of all the items so that nobody is left over. And because you are dividing them, if you take on a higher level, suppose you are doing some survey on a state level, then you have to visit all the places and you have to divide those areas, and thus it becomes more expensive. So first of all, the merits: more representatives. I can select more representatives from these random sampling. And second, greater precision, because I have taken the samples by stratified random sampling, more variety of people can be taken. Demerits: it requires utmost care because you are making the groups, you have to take care that nobody is left. And it is more expensive because you are making certain groups, you have to go to different cities, you are dividing them according to their area, so it becomes more expensive. Now students, let's come to the next topic. The second subdivision is systematic random sampling. Now what is systematic random sampling? Under this method, out of the complete list of population, suppose this is the complete list of population, you have got all the people from which you are going to investigate. Now the sample is selected. How do you select the sample? By taking every nth item. Suppose I need to conduct an inquiry in which average height of the students I need to take out. Now I will go for any number, like I am going for this inquiry for the every 4th student or every 4th item of this universe. I am going to select it as a sample. 1 2 3 4th, 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 and 1 2 3 4th. Every 4th item from this universe, from this population, I have selected as my sample. So this is the method which is known as systematically. You are going in a systematic manner. Every 4th item you are taking as your sample. Now this method is also known as quasi random sampling. Fine. The merits are: it is simple and convenient, very easy to do, and it consumes less time. It can be biased. Suppose every 4th person, suppose there are students, and every 4th person which is sitting on the bench is already the tallest one or is already the shortest one, then my data will be according to the tallest students or according to the shortest student. Then my inquiry will become less accurate. It won't be accurate. So it can be biased, and it is possible only when complete list is available. If the complete list is available, only then I can conduct this inquiry. Suppose few students are absent, then my inquiry will somewhat go wrong and it will become again less accurate. So this is your second subdivision, which is systematic random sampling. Let's come to the next one. Now students, let's come to the cluster sampling. It is as similar to the stratified sampling, but there is some difference in it. Let's see. Total population. Under the cluster sampling, the total population is divided into subcategories which are known as clusters. Now I have divided them into clusters. They are subdivided into clusters. Fine. I have divided into subcategories, and these categories are known as cluster. Now, a given number of clusters are chosen at random as the sample. As sample. The whole cluster, suppose any random, suppose this one I have selected as the sample. This one is being selected, this cluster is selected as the sample, which I have selected randomly. So this is your cluster sampling. Fine. You make the groups and that whole group is being selected under the cluster sampling. And this merit is very simple and convenient, and demerits is that result can be biased. Suppose there are students and I found out that these three are my favorite ones. Then what will happen? Obviously I am going to select them. So these are selected as the samples, and therefore it can be biased. The results can be biased. Now let's come to the next one, which is multi-stage sampling. This is the last subdivision, the fourth one, which is multi-stage sampling. Now multi-stage sampling is just the extension of cluster sampling. If we divide these clusters more into more categories, then it will become multi-stage sampling. Let's see. Now this is the extension of the cluster sampling, which is carried out in multiple stages. Now let's see. I have divided them into clusters. Now suppose I need 3 samples. Here also I selected 3, and here also I need 3. Now from these 6 clusters I am going to select 3. From these 6 clusters I have selected 3 clusters, and now these clusters I am going to divide them again. Now again these 3 clusters are divided into 6 clusters. Now from this I have selected this one and this one and this one, and again I have got more clusters. Fine. Now I will divide them again. Again 6 are there, and from these 6 I am going to select randomly any one of them. Now combining this, I have got 3 samples again. So this is the multi-stage sampling. You make the clusters, you select few, and again you divide them and select few, and again you divide them and select the required number of the samples. So students, this is your whole division of your sampling methods. You have completed the random sampling, the non-random sampling, and the divisions of random sampling, which is simple and restricted sampling, under which the restricted sampling you have covered stratified random sampling, systematic random sampling, cluster random sampling, and multiple stage random sampling. So all these data selection which you select the items is based on the random procedures. Fine. So that's all for your today's video. I hope you have learned a lot, and don't forget to take screenshots and prepare proper notes. So stay home, stay safe, and see you soon.